right now we're living in a world where I think more and more people are becoming interested in um, um, finding purpose, finding meaning, finding how to express themselves. What is their identity? What does it mean to be them? And the traditional ways in which many people have done that in the past have been sort of fading away. Religion has been fading away as a serious source of community and human meaning and purpose and engagement. The workplace, we don't relate as much as we used to the workplace.
Mhm.
So different things have been stepping up to fill that role. Politics, of course, has been stepping up to fill that role a
Very
lot
much.
lately. But I think as cryonicists, we certainly have a stronger case than most to make for why this particular quirky interest of ours should matter. Should be a meaningful part of what it means to be us. I mean,
Mhm.
and for me, it's certainly a part of my identity. So, what have been the ways in which Alcor has maybe leaned into that, tried to help establish more community within cryonics? Because of course, as we've been discussing, cryonicists tend to be potentially rather individualistic and
Mhm.
and and rather resistant to efforts to come together as a group. However, I think there can be enormous benefits. So, does Alcor feel the same way? Do you feel the same way? And if so, are there any initiatives to try and take advantage of the world in which we now find ourselves?
Well, you said something very important there, which is it's trying to organize any kind of event for cryonicis or life extensions is like herding cats. It's really they're very individualistic, and it's kind of hard to get them together, and they don't want to be shaped into anything very much. So it's not as easy as it could be for some groups. But yeah, we try to do some things. I think we could do more. For instance, Natasha, my wife, who's also an Alcor member, and she is just organizing a Thanksgiving event, which we actually started a long time ago, back in the early '90s, but we're redoing it now. Instead of Thanksgiving, we're calling it Thanks Living. It's kind of a transhumanist slash life extension celebration. Obviously, with COVID, it's not going to be in person. It's going to be online, but we're going to have kind of an online party. So I think more events like that. The online forums not really the best place to do this because they tend to be pretty cold and very open to exaggerating differences, hostilities. So online forums are not the best place to do this. I think video really helps, and obviously with especially with COVID going on, it's given a big boost to Microsoft Teams and to Zoom, and I think it's still kind of primitive compared to what we will have one day, but it does help seeing people face to face. So I think it'd be good to have more face-to-face meetings. And I'm actually seeing more people organizing those things. Just earlier this week, we had a request for a Nevada group to put together, and there's another group too. So there's some of that happening. I think there needs to be more of it. I think local meetings would be great. If we had more personnel, we could probably do more to help people in the local areas organize groups. California, Southern California, we used to have a very active group got together. Northern California has a fairly active group. But I think having groups of people who get together, I think New York more now too, really helps because you get to see other people. You realize these are real people who have the same interests, which is very hard to do in cryonics because kind of few and far between. I used to be the only person in my 1,000-mile radius who seemed to think this way. That's not quite as bad these days. So having that kind of is really kind of an emotional support in a way to realize I'm not alone here. There are people I can talk to, people I can call on. If I'm going to the hospital, maybe someone I can warn apart from the people at Alcor. So yeah, I think we could probably do more with that. It's a little harder than in many organizations, but yeah, that's an important thing to do. A sense of community and culture to the extent that we do have these things in common.
So if we do things online, they should be less on forums and maybe more active, certainly more video, voice,
I think
video, that
so.
kind of thing. And if we and to the extent possible, certainly after COVID, more local meetups, more
Mhm.
ways to establish things in the local environment.
Yeah, because you get together, you talk. If you have someone who's interested, you get to talk to them. They get to really ask a lot of questions. And one big obstacle we have is getting people to actually take when they say, "Okay, I'm ready to do this. I'm ready to get signed up." To actually get them to take that step of signing up is tough. Now, if you go to a sign-up party, which we've had before, especially in California, you've got people there who can be witnesses, people who can sign, give you. It's really not that hard actually to fill out the paperwork. People kind of make it as this enormously difficult thing. But I've seen someone sign up in like an hour from start to finish and hand us a check and he was a member. So it's not as hard as people think, but it certainly helps to have witnesses on hand and people are supportive and can maybe answer questions. So that would be another, I think, useful thing.